Fumble in the Dark is the sequel to the excellent Darkside Detective and takes you back to Twin Lakes, the 34th most haunted city in America, and into the role of Detective McQueen. 6 more cases will see you solve puzzles in places like a warped fun fair, a psychically possessed retirement home, and a druid's castle in Ireland. A Fumble in the Dark takes place just after the end of the first game and expands on a lot of the characters and themes from it. Thankfully, it doesn't do that stupid sequel trope of recalling the events or attempting to detail anything from the prequel. It just picks up the baton and runs with it, as all sequels should in my opinion. This does lead to the game being totally unwelcoming to newcomers. If you have not played the first game, you will have absolutely no clue who anyone is or what's going on. As for the writing, it's still brilliant. A Fumble in the Dark's cases go into the finer details and characters, and they go to strange new places. The dialogue is still sharp and witty, and the game uses its large ensemble cast to flesh out the city of Twin Falls really well. We even leave Twin Falls in America in some of the cases, with one taking place in Ireland, marking one of the few times in gaming that a level set in Ireland has been written by Irish people. This case is easily the best in the series. The main characters of McQueen and Dooley are both given much more backstory, imbuing them with an even more sense of life than before. Dooley's in particular is explored in great depth, and he's fast becoming my favourite character in any game ever. His swings from absurd level of idiocy to astounding clarity are never jarring, and fit perfectly with his goofball sidekick character. His general cluelessness is the basis for a lot of the humour, and it's so well done that it never gets old or repetitive. Gameplay is the standard point-and-click adventure fare. You explore the rooms, you pick up the items, and you talk to everyone you can to solve puzzles and progress the story. As with the prequel, there's no moon logic puzzles, and most can be solved with a bit of lateral thinking and some time. That said, there are 1 or 2 that will have you thinking for a while on the solution, but it's through genuine challenge and not because you don't happen to think along the same lines as the writer. The main difference between A Fumble in the Dark and its prequel is length. Whereas Darkside Detective could be cleared in around 4 hours, that same length of time will only get you to the end of the 3rd case here. There's still no dying in A Fumble in the Dark. Much like the prequel, this didn't ruin the game for me, but here I felt it undermined a lot of the more dramatic scenes. For example, there's a scene where you're in a box that's filling with water. The music is changed to create a sense of tension, but you've all the time in the world to escape as the water level never rises. It makes no sense to construct the scene to evoke danger, only to erase it right at the start. Again, it didn't ruin any of the scenes for me, but it did leave me wondering why this was done. The graphics are the same as in the first game, basic and functional, although a little more effort has gone into making sure that the items are more defined than Darkside Detective. The character models are all really well done, and the background art sets set up each scene nicely. There's much more variety in the backgrounds than in the previous game. The music score is not composed by Ben Prunty as with Darkside Detective. The composer here is Thomas O'Boyle, and his score is just as effective. Simple and unique, each track suits the area it's used in perfectly. It doesn't distract from the game and sets the tone nicely and doesn't clash with the comedic elements. The game still lacks voice acting and can get oddly quiet at times due to the lack of any environmental sounds. In summary, if you enjoyed Darkside Detective, then this is more of what you love. If you didn't enjoy Darkside Detective, then I recommend you get yourself checked out. A Fumble in the Dark is a superb second entry in a series I hope runs for a long time. For the most part, it's pretty much identical to the first installment. It does require the player to have played the first game to know what's going on, and I'm still convinced the only thing preventing this series from becoming sensational is the lack of a good voice cast. A Fumble in the Dark cements the Darkside Detective series as a staple of every adventure game fan's collection.